Hello, it's Dr. Kurt Stahora. I'm coming to you once again from the Niagara Global Tourism Institute, which is situated here on the international border between the United States and Canada. The NGTI is the institute where I am the NGTI Scholar, and I'm the Director of Research, and we are located in Trek. I'm here to chat with you about elements surrounding international travel and when we are likely to get back to some element of normalcy. And as a result of the cross-section of contemporary topics that are shared in the media, in addition to colleagues that I've discussed things with around the globe, I've come to the kind of a culmination of a few points that need to be reached in order for us to get back to some element of normalcy. I would say that the first point is that there needs to be uniformity relative to what safe travel looks like across the globe. And that probably comes or is accompanied by some international health passport, which comes with everyone agreeing that there is some baseline relative to what someone can travel in between countries. We've all reached that baseline. The second point is herd immunity. We are at a point where more people have succumbed to COVID-19, and in conjunction with that, we're also getting shots into people's arms. But there's a tipping point with respect to when people will feel comfortable traveling, and herd immunity is probably part of that process as well. Number three is there needs to be consistent messaging across the globe relative to safety and travel. And I think that the consistent messaging has to come from people in authoritative positions that are respected by their various constituents, and the same message needs to be sent concurrently. I think the next three things that I'm going to share with you all revolve around perception. And perception is more important in many respects than other elements, because if you perceive something to be true, then it is likely to be universally acknowledged as truth. And we know that from recent events that have taken place around the world in other sectors that are also affecting tourism, but that might be another podcast. So number four, I think there needs to be trust in the message. And the perception of trust, as suggested before, is absolutely essential. Number five, there needs to be trust in transportation. And that cuts across the airlines, that cuts across trains, that cuts across buses, on both sides, those leaving or departing an area and those arriving in an area. Trust needs to be perceived across those traveling in order for travel to be really accepted as being safe. And finally, number six, there need to be perceptions of accommodation on a macro level scale with respect to medical acumen when one travels to another country. So if one were to be sick in another area, they need to feel safe and medically accommodated in those areas. Now, there's one kind of theme underlying a lot of these themes that I shared with you, and that is what is likely to happen is there is likely to be a baseline across certain countries. And I don't know these countries per se, but let's just use hypotheticals. The United States, for instance, would have a baseline, and they would agree to their health baseline with Canada, perhaps the United Kingdom rather, Germany, France, and Spain, just for argument's sake. Those countries agree to a baseline, probably largely instituted by World Health Organization standards that everyone can agree on. And once that baseline is established, other countries could also be included into that group upon adhering to that baseline. So there might be a second rung of groups, or countries rather, that arrive at that same baseline sometime later. That also implies standards. There has to be some sort of World Health Organization check of approval, and obviously those will come in waves. So there will be a first wave, a second wave, and a third wave. The essential elements associated with the original baseline will also give incentive for other countries to invest in their health-related herd immunity and/or shots to enable transport and international and economic business to be able to transpire. So it would be a worthwhile investment for those countries to reach that original baseline. So I see this happening in parts. It may take some time for the entire country to be traversed and navigated and visited up to the same uniform standard, but I think that's the direction. The ultimate would be for everyone to adhere to that and for everyone to come up to that baseline standard. How long that takes is yet to be determined. There will be some countries that lag behind for a variety of reasons, but that's, I think, the direction that we're heading in. We'll continue to have these tourism shorts throughout the year, and I hope you find them interesting. We try to keep them brief, we try to keep them concise, and we try to make them informative. Look forward to seeing you next time when we have another tourism short, and I'll look forward to seeing you then. Bye-bye.